Today's episode is brought to you by Visible.
Captain Marvel week.
Got it. Good morning, Internet. It's SJU. I'm Joe. That's Dan, Billy, Ed. And after this show, we're going to have a hoodies versus black and white plaid game of 200 basketball.
Team plaid.
And I think it's depressing that looking at this table, I don't know which side's going to win.
It's a toss-up.
It's the lowest scoring game in basketball history.
Well, now we can do it. I think we should embarrass ourselves further by doing a reenactment of that scene from Top Gun. Doubles volleyball.
Shirts.
Oh, you pasty bastards get shirts? No way. The fat boys get shirts. You guys.
The sun's not good for me, Ed. Especially not on some Orange County beach while Kenny Loggins plays. Guys, we're going to talk a lot more than just shirtless beach volleyball featuring the cast of Screen Junkies. We're talking about the Brightburn trailer, which is what my body would be if I played shirtless volleyball on a beach. We're talking about cord cutting, which is what you would do if we broadcast shirtless volleyball. We're talking about Captain Marvel, because of course we are. It's Captain Marvel week. The road is laid. The path is set. We're going to talk about Carol a lot.
Turn into Gandalf for a second.
The road is laid, Daniel. The path is set. Fly to the theaters, you fools. Let's talk about Brightburn, guys. Produced by James Gunn, written by Mark and Brian Gunn. Just the whole Gunn clan coming in on this one.
Brothers.
Yeah, cousins, brothers. Nepotism at its finest, guys. That's fine. That's just a joke. I don't actually care. This comes out in May 2019. It looks like Scary, Spooky, Evil Superman. Is our second trailer. Thoughts?
I am really excited for this movie. I love that they're even like doubling down on the Superman and like taking the same font as Man of Steel, which I think is just great. I love that it's like instead of Smallville, it's Brightburn. And it's like, I said yesterday or maybe the day before when we were talking about Shazam that the reason why I'm so excited for Shazam was because one thing that I feel like superhero movies have been missing lately is like the sense of wonder if you got those powers. And this is the other side that I feel like is missing is the sense of horror if someone got these powers and they were not like benevolent. Like they were just like, I could kill all of you.
I'm a horrible person.
I love this concept. I think it's great like deconstruction of like everyone's like, we can't get Superman right. We can't get Superman right. It's like, all right, let's show the opposite side of Superman. Let's show what happens if you get Superman totally wrong, and it's awesome.
Yeah, Superman went to the wrong chat room as a child. And
Well, I mean, the sad part is there's definitely going to be a section of the internet who trolled me about my views on Zack Snyder, who will think that this is the sickest Superman movie ever, and they'll demand that this become a comic book, and if it comes out, they'll buy it. I really feel like there's people who won't even get that this is supposed to be horrific, that this isn't some, like, wish fulfillment of, like, superpowers, and that's going to be sad. But overall, I love, like you said, I love the concept of, like, what would happen if the guy from Man of Steel, how put upon they made him in Man of Steel, is like, oh, I heat the doorknob up when I'm trying to get out of the bathroom, you know, all that jazz. Yeah, well, maybe that would end up, and having your dad not believe in your powers or shunt your powers a whole bunch and tell you a bunch of crap, you know what I mean? Sacrifice me to not save people. If you got polluted with ideology like that, you might end up a character like Brightburn. So I frankly love this.
right on. Daniel?
Yeah, I like the concept. It's a great concept. It's high concept, which I realized I've been using wrong all these years. High concept meaning a very simple, good, easy to understand pitch.
It's weird, right? It's like fiction and nonfiction.
It feels like it feels like it shouldn't be what it is. I was educated on that by our wonderful audience because I used it improperly once and found out what I
Are still hearing about it today.
The audience is kind of like human Wikipedia or like the human fact checking. When I get something wrong, I definitely am corrected on what the actual.
It's like, but it's Wikipedia. But if Wikipedia was also the Kool-Aid man,
yeah. High concept means the opposite of what you think. Yeah. Exactly.
I get so confused on it. I don't say it. I like cut high concept, low concept, like out of my lexicon completely.
It's a smart move, Joe. I'll tell you. But and the style of it I like. Of course they're playing up the James Gunn connection as a producer, but I think a lot of people will just see James Gunn and assume, oh, directed by or written by.
Sure.
That's how that works. That's why obviously he produced
Worked
it for
for
other
Spider-Verse.
reasons. It helped with Lord and Miller, although Lord and Miller were even more directly involved in the Spider-Verse as far as the creative than James Gunn is, at least in a credited role on this. But I like the style. I like the cast. It's a great trailer. A lot of times, great trailer, the movie's like, but I like this, the look of it, and it is, James Gunn has done this sort of deconstruction of the idea of a superhero before with Super, which was the dark take on the superhero, but it's kind of the dark take on like a Daredevil, the dark take on a Batman. Yeah. And I like the idea of the darker take on Superman, which the comics have they've done, like Red Sun, and they've done some like Elseworlds type dipping of the toe into this, but I like the sort of superhero horror movie. Yeah, it's an intriguing idea. I would like to know more.
I think it's interesting that it's a movie about basically a Superman type character, but the movie still feels very intimate. It's the house, it's the school, it's within the bounds of the town. Like, I feel like this won't go like horrific Skybeam, and if it ends up doing that, I'll be sort of sad. But very sort of small scale. Intimate. I've seen a lot of the negative response to this being like, "Oh, evil Superman, easy concept." But easy concept doesn't mean bad.
RoboCop is the easiest concept in the world. RoboCop, but it's a great movie.
The concept of 28 Days Later is, what if zombies could run? That's it. That's literally it.
Well, it only takes a little bit to advance the game. I was watching this thing on Netflix called Losers, and there's this guy who invented a way to play curling. That was just trash. Like, he literally ruined the game to the point where they changed the rules. And then he went and won it that way because he was just such a genius at curling. Yeah. But there is a genius in messing the game up. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I love this that they can execute this simple concept. And like you said, it's low budget. Aren't we in a great age where we could do a Superman movie on a low budget?
Yeah.
Aren't we in a great
cool.
age?
Yeah.
That's just sick. I'm really happy for this.
Yeah, and looks good and looks. Yeah, I think this looks super fun. I like his weird little Blair Witch logo. Drawn into everything.
Little Bluetooth sign.
Yeah. And kids test. Yeah, that's hilarious.
You're right.
Play music anywhere in that house.
Kids don't kids don't get the consequences of their actions a lot, and kids test boundaries. Now this kid can lift 50 tons and fly. Go.
Yeah, that
is great.
Horrifically scary. Yeah.
It's also like, I feel like a little bit of a commentary on like the participation trophy thing, because it's like, you're the only one that thinks I'm special, and it's like, what happens when this kid is just like super powered and this mom's like, you're special, you're different, you're gonna change everything, you're the best, and he's like, yeah, I am. And I watch me do it. Yeah. And you're like, uh-oh. Maybe I should have humbled him a bit. Like, I think that's really interesting. This trailer is also like more gruesome. Like, I watched this with Max in our office, and when the glass, we were both like,
oh yeah.
Was that a red band?
I was like, where was the red
in a trailer now?
Apparently, as long as you don't curse or show a boob, you can put glass in an eyeball.
That's weird.
Oh, this table is very excited for Brightburn. Let that go on the record. Thank you, JTE.
Oh,
yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And the viewers at home also.
Yeah, I'm sure they like that as well.
My mother thanks you. My father thanks you.
That was a very good decision. Let's talk cord cutting instead of eyeball cutting. Cord cutting has doubled year over year. This is via Deadline. The pace of cord cutting accelerated in 2018, with the largest pay TV provider shedding about 2.9 million video subscribers. This is why they're now just trying to buy up studios, because this business is dying. Nearly double the 1.5 million subscriber losses in 2017, according to the latest study. The research firm that did this, they track providers covering about 95% of the market, found that gains from virtual MVPD services, aka skinny bundles like PS View, Sling, DirecTV Now, are not making up for conventional subscriber losses. That indicates that a growing number of viewers are doing without pay TV altogether, presumably in favor of lower-cost subscription services like Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon Prime Video. So satellite distributors, DirecTV and Dish Network are suffering the bulk of the losses, which is a collective $2.36 million in 2018, which is up from $1.55 million in 2017. Based on recent estimates from Wall Street analysts and other reports, all U.S. skinny bundles together have between 7 million and 8 million subscribers. That tally is less than 10% of the 89.1 million pay TV homes in the U.S. So, you know, what does that tell us? People, you know, the skinny bundle thing is bizarrely telling. That actually really surprised me, because when they first started putting options like that out there, I was like, oh, that's a good solve. You can just get these 10 things that you want, but it seems that's not the case. People are just over cable in general.
I think with like Sling was the first big one that was like, buy us a la carte. There's different packages you can buy the 10 channels that you want or whatever. Then Hulu, YouTube, they're all trying to do, they're like, we're live TV, but we're not cable because there's no subscription, blah, 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 blah. But all this reads to me, it's like a lot of words, but what I'm seeing is like, it's not necessarily that people are even like dropping cable because of the pricing model. It's like, I don't want to watch what networks are programming when they program. I want to watch what I want to watch when I want to watch, and I don't want to, like, the traditional like 8 p.m. this show is on, like, people don't want that. To me, this reads like people just don't want that anymore at all.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't care.
Yeah.
Except for a select few things. Game of Thrones being one of them. I don't think that's going to be one where people are like, oh, I'll watch it whenever. But that's a streaming thing now. That's HBO. I think probably more people watch Game of Thrones on HBO Go and HBO Now than on HBO.
I would be interested to see though, like if Game of Thrones season premieres on HBO at 8 p.m., but they threw it on HBO Go or HBO Now like at 10 o'clock that morning, like what the difference would be.
It would be chaos. It would be absolute chaos. Spoilers everywhere. People going nuts about not being. You have to, a show like Game of Thrones, you've got to drop at one time, I think, because otherwise, there is a value, I think, to a social event in the sense that, like, HBO knows that if they drop Game of Thrones simultaneously everywhere, they are going to dominate social media for the next 4 hours. That is all people are going to talk about is Game of Thrones. Whereas if you do it at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then there's going to be a bump in the day, but then some people aren't going to want to know, so they're not going to talk about it, and then they'll talk later. And I think it's you're diluting the impact of each episode. But that Game of Thrones is kind of a singular thing. There aren't many shows like that. Like, a lot of people love Superstore. But it's not the kind of show that I've got to watch Superstore when it's on or else I'm going to miss the conversation. It's like, no, people will watch Superstore whenever they want to. And it's a very highly rated show and a well-received show. But it's in a different category from a show like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, or like a Whiskey Tango or whatever that
Whiskey Cavalier. Whiskey Cavalier. Whiskey Cavalier has become appointment viewing.
I got to have my WC.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Are you surprised that skinny bundles haven't worked? Do you guys think that there's an eventual wall that streaming is going to hit?
I just feel like somebody needs to tell my girlfriend about all these different ways to watch television, because damn, you know what I mean? Like we're paying for cable. Well, she's paying for cable, and it's like there's these little pockets that they're missing, like certain Food Network type of things, and little like my live Laker games with the Spectrum guys talking about like, hey, I'm the ghost of Chick Hearn and I like LeBron or whatever the hell. I just gotta have that for some reason, and I don't think I can get it on Hulu Sports or Sling or whatever. So we're just missing these little pockets. We could like be saving so much money, but we have these particular viewing habits that like. We looked at Sling, and Sling was like, these two things that you guys watch TV for, we don't have, sorry.
Well, I think that's an interesting sort of look at it, because you can see... but
there's less and less of us, is what I'm saying. There's less and less of us,
But
obviously.
you can see streaming... I think streaming notices that, because they're trying to fill those buckets. You know, Netflix has pushed cooking shows. You know, for people who just need their Chopped or need their Gordon Ramsay or whatever, they have British Bake Off. They have Master the table, chef's table,
Yeah.
master table.
Well, and they have all that on
right?
Hulu too. Everything that they would want to watch on TV mostly is on Hulu.
And
Yep.
you'll see.
Well, we definitely have Hulu, and I think she watches a lot of that on there. But there's my DVR says that there's a lot of food stuff from some Sri Lankan channel. I don't know. There's like all kind of
food
jazz
stuff.
Yeah,
But even competitive reality show type stuff. I like Gunn and Tim Gunn and what's her face that hosts Project Runway. Like they left Project Runway to
Heidi
do
Klum,
Heidi
right?
Klum.
Yeah.
They left. They're doing streaming shows. So you can. I think streaming is going after those little holdouts so that they can say, hey, you know what? Just let it go. Just cut the cord. We got some cooking. We got some stuff. They just need like some singing competitions. And I think they're set for my parents' demographic.
Well, the problem right now is, I mean, like the one thing that I think keeps a lot of people, and you mentioned it, is sports. And the problem with sports is that a lot of like the Dodgers, for instance, here, like they have a deal with Spectrum, Time Warner, and that's the only place you can see it. So when you get like the MLB streaming package, if you live in LA, there are blackout rules, and blackout rules mean if you live within a certain radius of that team, you cannot watch them streaming. But those deals have been in place for so long, and blackout restrictions on sports have been around for so long that it's like until these big leagues can work out these blackout deals, like then I feel like if that happens, goodbye cable.
Oh,
Goodbye, cable.
that's yeah. I'd hit cable in the head with a VCR. I'd be cable to death with a VCR to get the hell away from it. You know?
I'm curious to know because the thing that is not is like, yes, cable revenues from subscribing to cable television are dropping, but the piece of the pie that I don't know is, but what amount of cable companies, Spectrum, Comcast, everything, what amount of their revenue comes from internet? Because
they still got us by the
if I cut the cord on my cable, but I still have one provider in my area that I can buy internet from.
Right.
That doesn't seem like that should be legal, but it is. I have one service provider in my area so if I want internet, I still have to pay Spectrum. I still have to give them X amount of dollars a week or a month for internet because that's how I access all the other things.
Occasionally threaten them that I'm going to try FiOS.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But I think that's the other question that I'm curious about is, revenues are dropping to cable companies for people subscribing to cable TV, but what percentage of their revenue is that, and what percentage of it is their internet service? And then also with the networks, you would think, okay, well, if less people are watching it on television, then maybe advertising revenues are dropping, which is possible. But are they seeing a revenue bump by licensing their shows to places like Hulu, like we were talking about with Bones? It's why people are looking at these deals, because they're realizing that when a network licenses something to Hulu, then they better damn well be getting their money's worth because more and more people are watching it there. So that's where the sliding scale for me is. It's like, what's the loss here? What's the gain here? Who's making what money and where? It's a
what we
marketing
need to
adjustment.
do is start selling teams to like Viacom. So that now they'll do the Bones deals.
The Spectrum Dodgers.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
for a while,
backdoor.
the Braves were, I don't know if they still are, were owned by like Turner.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like unheard of. It definitely happens.
I think the
but,
whole city of Atlanta is owned by Turner and Tyler Perry. and
Coca-Cola.
and now Marvel is getting in there. But I definitely do think like it is interesting. I can't remember who at the table said it, but it's like, maybe it is like cable is going away. So now they're buying studios and now they own the content. Oh, and they got you on their network. Oh, and net neutrality is not a thing. Here you go. Now here's the next
They're going to have
phase.
to scramble to survive. You can't survive on just the generation that needs a landline phone is not going to be around a whole lot longer. Like they can't rely on that bucket for the
Cable
for the
TV
bundle.
is the landline phone of our generation.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really, really, really is. I think they're going to have to evolve some. The DVR has to evolve because that is now like having a VCR versus I can just stream everything. There was a minute where the DVR was like, oh my god, I can record whatever I want, so I can watch it when I want to.
Yeah, it seems wildly primitive now to have a box in your house that records things.
Yes, it really.
And that's
does.
where my mind went when I was saying that weird stuff about the VCR earlier. I know people in the chat like, what the hell is he talking about? VCR? That's not even germane.
No.
Yeah, it is, because that's what a DVR is. It's
Well,
like,
also as someone who's just known you a long time, I've seen you actually beat someone up with a VCR. So it's like, I get it.
It's like your weapon of choice.
it's like Office space.
If you were a programming whiz with a sufficient amount of SLP VHS tapes, you could use your VCR as a DVR. However, there were significant limitations to that arrangement, primarily being that if the power goes out, you lose everything.
Which is ironic.
To reprogram everything.
Which is ironic because you just dropped a nerd EMP. So it all
That's
goes
true.
together.
And manual programming. And if the electricity went out, you were screwed. You just missed it. Wait till the summer. Sorry.
Sorry.
Because reruns used to be on. I even have reruns used to be on in the summer. You see, in the summer they would just rerun what you saw in the fall.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
great. Yeah. If you missed an episode, you'd be like, all right, it's March, so probably August 15th to the 22nd, I could probably catch that one.
You get out a paper calendar and start marking
True.
when you're going to watch something.
Before we jump into Captain Marvel, I want to implore you to tune in on Thursday to Movie Fights. It's going to be a super good one. It's Iffy, Wadaway's coming back, Cameron Rice, who is a new favorite, is coming back, Markia McCarty's coming back. She's been on fire a lot lately. We have some very weird questions for this one.
Yeah, one of them has the longest caveat to a movie fight question I
Yes.
have ever seen.
A
Full I was reading, I was like, what am I reading here?
Yeah.
It's so
Now
bizarre.
I'm curious.
Yeah, I sent it to you. Did you not see
No.
it? Oh.
I mean, I saw it yesterday, but yesterday was very busy, and
Yes.
I had to run out the door early to get to a screening, and then I missed the boat. I guess.
Like, you know
You're
when
gonna love it.
You know when you're you're having a discussion with your friends and it's like, who would win, Batman or Superman? It's like, okay, but Batman also, it's 1989 Batman. Gotham City is the
Where
prime
are
man's
they?
land. Yeah, like
What
it's one of those
time is it?
questions where there's so many qualifiers to it that it's like, I can't wait to see what they come up with.
Yeah, so I'm excited about this episode. Make sure you guys check it out. It's going to be super fun. Let's get into Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, Miss Carol Danvers, is the fastest pre-seller since Infinity War. Since the last one? Okay.
Shocker.
Whoa! This is
I think
via-
the more interesting part is like the little survey where they say why people are so
This
excited.
survey
to
cracks
see
me
it.
up
Yeah,
too.
it is ridiculous.
So this is via Fandango and to her. According to Fandango, Marvel's That's a weird sentence. According to Fandango, Marvel's Captain Marvel is currently the Fandango's biggest advanced ticket seller since the last Marvel movie, Avengers: Infinity War.
That's not true.
Technically,
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
would be the
Oh,
last
I'm
one.
so sorry, Paul Rudd. I forgot
Yeah, we all
about
did.
your movie. It was fun. I liked Walton Goggins in it a lot, and I'm very sorry. Biggest ticket seller since 2 Marvels ago. Unless there was a Hawkeye solo. Did I forget about a Hawkeye solo movie?
JT, you might want to switch out that lower third there. We've moved on to the next one.
No,
Yep.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Is anyone at home keeping score of these things? Please send them to me for performance review purposes. Anyways, continue.
What are you watching, man? I want to know what JT is watching.
Yeah, what are you watching on your phone, man? How's that Brightburn trailer for the 4th time in there?
Are you recording a movie things on Brightburn while you do this?
Programming VCR. It's a very complicated process. Stormy nights in LA, the power probably went out. You gotta record your programs.
Yeah, how else is he going to catch Whiskey Cavalier? Whiskey Cavalier on ABC.
It's not 12. It's not 12. It's not 12. Stop it. It's not 12.
Here's a quote from Fandango managing editor Eric Davis. Fans can't wait to experience the nostalgic 90s vibe of the film and to see Brie Larson as one of the most powerful and relatable superheroes we've seen on the big screen. Sorry, that sentence just made me laugh. Powerful and relatable.
what they say
I haven't
about
seen Captain
Brightburn.
Marvel, so that's not a judgment on that, just a judgment on his weird sentence.
You'll give him one out of those two.
With Avengers Endgame approaching, fans are also rushing to the multiplex. Also, one of my favorite words, to find out how Captain Marvel fits into the Avengers storyline. Plus, I can't wait to see Goose, the scene-stealing cat.
Multiplex.
The multiplex.
That's like when people say, I'm going to the supermarket. I'm like, the store. You're just going to the store.
You're just going to the store.
1945.
I'm going to
I'm going to the market.
The multiplex does sound like something from the World's Fair.
Yeah.
On to the multiplex. Come on.
Welcome to the multiplex.
Eat your prime rib pills.
The viewing of the future. Everyone's just like on a moving sidewalk, like, ooh. So, why are people so excited about Captain Marvel? According to a recent Fandango survey of 1,000 Captain Marvel moviegoers, these are the reasons. 98% are looking forward to see how Captain Marvel connects to the ongoing Avengers storyline. Which,
sense.
yeah, that's most.
Who is the 2%? Who are the 2% of 1,000 Captain Marvel moviegoers that are like, I don't really care how it ties into the Avengers.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Or I'm not even excited, because that would mean they are not excited to see. Who is going to Captain Marvel like, I hope they do not tie this into the Avengers storyline, and I'm not excited to see it.
I feel like a lot of people actually are like, I just want my standalone. I'm tired of this connectivity. I don't want anything.
Stop looking at me.
Yeah, I'm looking right at you, too.
I don't mind. I don't mind. I'm excited to see
That was the most southern backpedal I've ever seen.
Now hold up here, y'all. I'm quite excited about seeing how this young lady connects to the larger ensemble and storytelling. Hold your horses. That dog just don't hunt. I'm hanging on like a hair on a biscuit, waiting here to see how this here young lady connects to the larger storyline involving the Thanos narrative. 92% are looking forward to the movie's 90s setting.
Well, that 8%'s gonna be pissed.
What?
They lean way in.
This is not now.
Hard.
What are these songs?
Oh God, the songs.
Wow.
How much is there? Are there any Toad the Wet Sprocket drops?
There's so many drops. I lost track.
Little letters to Cleo while she
Yeah.
kills some scrolls. I'm into that. 81% are excited about seeing Captain Marvel because they hope it will provide more answers to Infinity War before seeing Endgame. That's
It feels like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
very
that's about right.
connected to the 98% that are not part of the 81%.
Yeah.
That seems very strange.
It's a
Yeah.
very fine line. It was like, I am looking forward to seeing how Captain Marvel connects to the ongoing Avengers storyline, but I am not excited about it because it's going to provide more answers to Infinity War. These are deep subtleties that are drawn into these movie fans.
This is why every time California has a referendum election, it terrifies me. When they let us just vote on, like, should we have roads? And then they just throw so much weird pro-con road stuff at us. Like, I can't
don't know if I
can't
like
depend
roads
on
anymore.
these weird people to help me make road decisions. Like, because they're like, well, I'm excited about how it fits into Avengers, but not so much Endgame, and will it wrap back into Infinity War, and we shouldn't have roads.
Look, if you are part of that 19%, come on, SJU. We want to talk to you. We have questions. We want to know exactly what you want from us.
Yes.
Well, my
I
favorite
need
one
to
is
know.
my favorite one is the last one.
Take it.
75% are looking forward to seeing the de-aging process used on Samuel L. Jackson and Clark Gregg as Agent Coulson and Nick Fury.
Now, I'm excited to see how well that does, but that wouldn't be my primary reason to pay $20 to go see a movie. To see like one specific special effect?
Well, but I think they're doing it so much. Like he's like Gollum. You know what I mean? He's like basically a CGI character for a lot of the movies, supposedly. You know what I mean? Because it's like they're doing so much. I mean, it's one thing to see a segment where we get to see, Tony Stark as a teen or something like that, and his parents and stuff.
That was a bad one.
Yeah.
The Michael Douglas one for me was from the first Ant-Man was the most impressive use of it.
I really
to
liked
me.
the Kurt Russell one in Guardians 2
that one wasn't
because
bad.
they also did. I think it was mostly makeup, if I remember correctly. Like it wasn't. It was more of a mix. No, Kurt Russell.
Oh, Kurt Russell. It was a mix. It was a mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I agree on that
thing.
one.
Yeah.
I agree. That one and Michael Douglas, I think, are the best uses.
But you're sort of
it.
making a point versus like a segment versus like the whole movie.
Yeah, having a lot of a movie depend on. I mean, are they going to de-age his hips for the running sections? Maybe Dan knows that.
I will say
ages
that it's well done.
Okay.
The effect is very well done. It's not creepy. It makes sense.
Then I don't get how, and it wasn't even like the first time they did it, but that Tony Stark one in Civil War is really bad. And that's like, Disney, by the way, I've said this a million times, but I think they have a patent on this technology because the last few years they have thrown it in every movie they have. Like, they even did it with like Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean. They do it in Star Wars.
It's their new trick. That
Yeah.
They kind of dole out to all of the. Everyone gets it now.
But for some reason, that Tony Stark, I mean, it started with Tron, 10 years ago now, but
you're right.
That Tony Stark one is like almost Tron Legacy level bad for me. And everything else was great. I don't know what happened on that one. It doesn't matter if it's in the VR. It's still like the whole point of that scene though is that you don't realize that that's not actually happening until like you're almost at the end of that scene.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't look terrible. It looks terrible.
It was early. It was early in the process.
Yeah.
They hadn't quite cracked it yet.
I don't think Tony Stark's VR station would have Nintendo 8-bit graphics. He's going to want to make that thing look pretty slick.
His parents looked like human beings, JT, and he looked like a cartoon. I
Yeah.
think is what Billy said.
Yeah.
If it was a VR thing, then all the human beings would have looked like cartoons.
What the hell?
I want to know why they're
just
excited to see Captain Marvel. There is some kind of word sound. I have never heard this sound before.
Well, it sounds like a.
Is Rohan coming to our aid?
Look to the hills on the third day.
Gondor calls for aid.
Okay.
And we're back. So those are the reasons why people are very excited to see Captain Marvel. Look, honestly, now it's now whoever's blowing the horn's being stabbed.
Let's just power through it.
An archive
Power drill through it.
I'm going to throw this out there. I think the reason why this is selling a lot of tickets is because it's a Marvel movie, and they tend to.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see this. Well, not can't wait. This actually, I'm more interested, I'll say, for the story where it's like lowest Marvel Fandango pre-sales since whatever Incredible Hulk
Well,
or
they'll
whatever.
never publicize that story.
But I mean,
Yeah.
there's. I
Because
mean,
these figures come from Fandango.
Yeah.
We are speaking about Fandango now on the air, and this is a news story. It's like when box studios release box office tracking.
right.
Yeah.
It's there's no
advertisement.
real context to these numbers, but it's a way of generating publicity and press. Like every superhero movie that comes out, there's one of these stories. I was just looking up. There was one about Aquaman. Fandango released Aquaman has outpaced Wonder Woman to this point in its run, and then there's a story about Fandango and a quote from Eric Davis about, and there's one about the Holiday movie, and it's like this is another way to sort of make it, as part of the news cycle. The pre-sales are a part of it. I would not put a whole lot of stock in these numbers because not because I don't think Captain Marvel is going to do well, but because there's just no context to any of this. We don't know what is this in relation to 5-day, 7-day, 10-day, 30-day up till now. Maybe that's in the story. If it is, then I apologize. I
think
need
it
to
is.
start reading entire stories before I say things like that because then people, as we mentioned before, I get corrected often and early. The bigger point being
Low concept.
and low concept, and in the bigger picture. It's just another fact and figure about the film that's like it's great, but it's not the story. It's a component of the story. It's a great lead up to the movie, but
Right.
it's not. Should not mean. No one should take this to mean that Captain Marvel is going to make more than Avengers: Infinity War, or even another movie that is not Avengers: Infinity War. It's just another metric. It's another fact and figure.
I'm just excited, really, that a cat finally really gets to take center stage in
Is the
a
cat
superhero film.
named Goose after like Goose from Top Gun?
Yes, I think
Okay.
so. Because
That's
I think
cool.
this is supposed to be Top Gun Marvel movie. So the
Yeah.
cat's name is Goose.
Well, I'm trying not to look at Dan. I don't want to see any micro expressions or anything like that. So I may need some de-aging process on his face to obscure these reactions.
The non-spoiler filter.
Yeah, the
Face.
non-spoiler for like a Snapchat. Just drop it on there.
I dig it. Well, guys, that's why. What
Why are you
percentage
excited
of
to
these
see it?
people? Why am I excited to see this movie? I really like the character of Carol Danvers. This is one of my favorite Marvel. All of my reasons are shallow. This is one of my favorite Marvel costumes. So I'm literally like I've literally become the thing I hate, where people are just like, I see the thing I like on screen, but I really like her costume a lot. I really like Kelly Sue McCormick's mechanics of first run of Captain Marvel. It's a great story. The art's super beautiful in that. So yeah, I'm excited to see her on screen. I want to see how the scrolls get worked in, and I guess I'm excited about this cat. No one will shut up about the cat.
The scene stealing cat. I mean, the bar is so low for scene stealing cats. Am I going to get crucified in the chat for that?
Maybe.
But it just seems like pretty low. I mean, they purr a little. They look at stuff.
The cat's cute. They employ the
Yeah, it's
a
just
cute cat.
Yeah, it just seems like such a parlor trick to be so impressed by. But hey, I like cats as well.
What a Mountain Dew comment that was, man. Jeez.
It really was.
What a code red Mountain Dew piece of shit to come out of your mouth.
I absolutely agree. Somebody on the internet said, "Oh, and I'm sorry. I don't." She's on my Instagram comments. She goes, "Trust Ed Greer to bring the cynicism. I mean the realness." And it's like, yeah, you're right. It's cynicism. It's pure
Ed
horrific
Greer,
cynicism.
Do the do.
And the do is quite urban now. I like it.
Well, guys, that's our show. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Urban Dew. Check out Movie Fights tomorrow. We'll be back here for more SJU, where we'll probably talk about Captain Marvel a little more in a slightly different context. We'll see you then. Bye, guys.
I love cats.
Thank you to Visible, the future of phone service, for sponsoring this episode.